Welcome to Believers Talk, and what an amazing game if you're a Bills fan. My name is Joe. Welcome to Believers Talk. If you have not already subscribed to this channel. Believers Talk will keep you covered with all Buffalo Bills related news. Big news coming out today with some injuries. We have some injury updates for you as far as Derek Anderson possibly coming out of concussion protocol finally. Charles Clay is improving, so that's good to see. But we do this every single week. We'll go live Sunday for the play-by-play and reaction show. While the game's going on, I'll be on here giving you live play-by-play and reaction. Obviously, was at the game yesterday. If you're following me, you saw some of the videos that I posted during the game. Had a great time, guys. My voice is still a little not quite there yet, so, it might be a little bit quieter than I'm used to. But, man, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun yesterday, so I appreciate everyone who watched yesterday as I try to keep you all up to date. Uzi, welcome. How you doing? Good to see you. We are going to break down as the Bills beat the Jaguars 24-21, moving them to 4-7 on the season and dropping the Jaguars to 3-8 on this season. So, a lot of things we'll go over. I mean, if you look at the Jacksonville side of the ball, Hackett has been fired. Blake Bortles has been benched. Finally, if you're a Jaguars fan, you're finally saying thank you for doing that, because Jaguars fans have been screaming for a long time that you can move on from Blake Bortles. So maybe that's something that they kind of get used to. So again, welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe. I'll go through the stats from this game, and I'll go through some of my keys, some of the good, some of the bad guys. This was a fun victory. We enjoy this victory, but it wasn't all good by any means. It was not good throughout this whole game. So we'll get through some of that stuff as well. Yeah, it was a great one to go to, Uzi. We had a good time. Right now, it's telling me my resolution's off, so let me know if you guys are doing okay. Now it tells me I'm good. So let me know if the image is coming off clear on your guys' screen or not, or if we're doing okay here. Again, it's halftime of the Texans-Titans game. Wanted to get on here on Monday night. Go Bills, Fox 87, what a game, good win. Again, I feel like, and we'll get into this a little bit, some Bills fans are getting a little more excited than they should. Still 4-7 on the season. I'm not a lose to get better draft pick type person. I always want to see my team win. I always go into a game expecting the Buffalo Bills to come out with a victory, and in this case they did. Again, beating the Jacksonville Jaguars 24-21. Big win for the Bills. It was an emotional win. Josh Allen came back after he was gone for a few weeks. He did not play great, right? But he had the intangibles, the drive, the emotion. He was in the game, and there were times where he looked like he could be our potential future. English Buffalo sports fan, hey, welcome. I know some of you guys also joined UCF Jaguar. Again, I want to thank UCF Jaguar. Not only did we do a couple collab videos throughout the week, he also live streamed the game yesterday, and I know some of you went on there, so I appreciate that. He also, again, I apologize for my voice. Not quite there yet. You guys know how excited I get a lot of times in these videos. I don't think I'll be getting that excited today, just because my voice is still a little hoarse from yesterday's game. A lot of fun, a lot of great things happening in that game, but there were some bad things that we want to talk about too. But if you're a Jaguars fan, Jaguars side of the ball, again, they already benched Blake Bortles, and you're talking about Hackett, their offensive coordinator, being fired, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens throughout the season for the Jacksonville Jaguars moving forward. But onto the Bills side of the ball, again, big win for Buffalo. Some of the good that we saw, again, I want to talk about Isaiah McKenzie a little bit, man. Isaiah McKenzie, his first career touchdown on that 8-yard run to the outside. Just that play alone talks a lot about the good that happened yesterday. If you missed it, watch that touchdown again if you get a chance. If you look on the way Isaiah is running, if you look, Zay Jones, Logan Thomas, great key blocks to knock out Jordan Ramsey, and I forget who the other guy was for Jacksonville, knocked them out of the play, giving Isaiah McKenzie a great walk-in touchdown to start the game up 7-0. But the blocking was really really good downfield, and that's something that I think our wide receivers and tight ends don't get enough credit for. I know we look at the stat sheet guys, and especially with Calvin Benjamin and some of the other guys, and we see the stats, and we're not excited about the stats, but watch the blocking downfield, especially on screen passes, especially on run plays. They do a good job with the blocking downfield. Calvin Benjamin, one big catch on the day, and that's it. But he was going up against Jalen Ramsey all day, and I mean, everyone was chanting it. Again, Jalen sucks, but let's be honest, he's one of the best corners in the league, shutdown corner. So no surprise, Kevin Benjamin did not have any impact on this game really, other than that first really big catch that he had early in the first quarter. And he just hasn't been a presence all season. So why would we expect him to go up against one of the best corners in the league and have a presence in this one? He didn't. Zay Jones didn't have a catch in this one either, but I still like overall what we're seeing from Zay Jones. Again, big key blocks downfield. He still made sure that he was part of this offense. And past the eye test, I mean, he didn't do the penalties. We'll talk about that as well. He didn't. To me, he didn't always pass the eye test. There were definitely some short hop passes that could have been made easier. Some easy completions that were missed on the field. And if you look, he didn't complete over 50% of his passes. Now, I'll give you that some of those were drops. You think about Thompson's drop when he had it in his hands. And it was just knocked out by a Jaguar defender. That should have been a catch. However, Allen could also lead him a little bit better. The wide receiver can lead him a little bit better in those situations, so he does not get hit by the Jaguar player at the point of impact, and then he drops the ball. But yeah, I mean, yes, he looked good at times, not just throwing the ball, but running the ball, of course. Had 99 rushing yards in this game. We'll get to the stats in a second overall. But Josh Allen did look like he has those intangibles that I was talking about. He was very emotional in this game. He had that great pass to Robert Foster to make it 14-0, that 75-yard bomb. Under pressure like that, I think that was his best throw so far this season. Let me know if you disagree. But I definitely think that was his best throw just overall this season. The poise in the pocket to make sure that he has time to throw that ball, gets hit as he throws it, throws a dart, still able to throw it a little high, but Foster able to jump up, grab it, able to come down with it. Looked really good. But again, still went 8 for 19, I believe it was. We'll again get to the stats in a second. Not exactly impressive. Wish there were definitely some throws left out there they could have made. He missed Thompson once or twice over the middle and ended up just either running, which is fine because he did again get 99 yards, or checking it down to McCoy or Ivory when he had Thompson open over the middle. So we want to be able to see him progress from his wideouts a little bit better to complete those passes down the field, maybe get some more yards, maybe open up the run game a little bit more. So Jacksonville would have to respect the pass, which we did a good job in this game. Especially that Robert Foster play, that Calvin Benjamin play, both in the first quarter. We made it impossible for Jacksonville to overstuff the box for the running game like we could do on the other side of the ball, because Blake Bortles just wasn't doing it on offense for the Jacksonville Jaguars. However, if you think about that second quarter, the Buffalo Bills defense got gashed. And it wasn't just Fournette either. It was a Hyde. I think they had an end around or something like that to Westbrook, where he ran up the sideline. I mean, there were a couple big plays there, and Blake Bortles had a couple key runs as well. So the run game is still a concern. Again, the Colts game and now this game. Now I know Leonard Fournette is great. I know he's one of the better backs in the league. But you can't allow over 200 rushing yards in a game and expect to win that game. We do win this game. We win the turnover battle 2-0. That really helped out, gave us that game-winning field goal actually with the Hyde fumbles or the Hyde interception. So let me get some of your comments again. Welcome everybody. If you are new, welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe. We have a good time here. My voice is still a little hoarse from the game yesterday. I was there, and it was just back and forth. We'll also talk about that brawl, right? We can't go through the stream and not talk about that brawl yesterday. I was actually right above me. I was in that section, and the brawl was below me. I actually didn't know what was going on because I didn't have a good angle of it because it was right above me. So, but we'll talk about that as well. I did get to rewatch the game here because I did videotape it as well, and we'll try to get to some of those comments about what happened in that fight as well. I think everything that needed to happen. I don't think the refs did a great job in this game. I think the refs actually could have prevented the brawl from happening sooner, but we can get into that as well. Fournette got suspended for a game. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, he did throw like 3 punches at Shaq Lawson. I actually found it funny if you watch Hyde. And I don't even think he was in on the play. I think Hyde was the running back on that play. And then if you watch Hyde, he comes over to try to stop Fournette. He actually knocks off his helmet. And now Fournette's sitting there without a helmet on, getting punches thrown by Shaq Lawson. And then with what happened in the when they were coming off the field, they really should have done a better job at making sure one guy went off the field at a time instead of having both go into the tunnel at the same time. Not sure that's something you want to keep doing in the future, but they should have done a better job with that as well. But again, we'll get into that a little bit more in depth. Let's go through some stats again, and then we'll go through some positives and negatives from this game. Again, the biggest positive, of course, the Bills win 24-21, moved to 4-7 on the season. I know that some of you will say, "Oh, we need a draft position," but hey, we don't need draft position. And I'll tell you why we don't need draft position, because no one needs draft position. How many number one overall picks have been busts? Right, and you look at the number one overall picks in the same year. Who was the number one overall pick when Aaron Rodgers was selected? I think 19th overall. It's stuff like that no matter where you pick, it's still a crapshoot as far as who you take. That's the important thing. And if we need to move up, we have 11 draft picks, 10 draft picks this year in the draft. If we need to move up to get our guy, which I don't think we need to do. In fact, I won't be surprised to move back. But if we need to move up, we have the tools to do it. And we have a GM and a coach who have shown they're willing to be a little bit risky when it comes to that kind of situation. So I have complete faith in them moving forward coming into the draft. Let me know what you think. Do you have faith in them as well? Alex Smith, well, we'll see. We'll see. We do have a Corby QB now, and I do agree with you. We don't need draft position. We need to see his growth for the rest of the year and see him make more of those throws like he did to Robert Foster. But again, let's go through stats. If I missed any comments, I apologize, but we'll go through them as best we can. Welcome, Piano Wits. It's good to see you. The Refs were terrible in that game, and not even just one side or another. Like I don't think they did a bad job evenly distributing the bad calls. But they were pretty bad in this game, and we saw it. But the Bills do have to do better. There was 12 men on the field on a punt that would have got Jacksonville off field. We need to do better at making sure we count to 11. We got a delay game penalty on an extra point. How often do you see that happen? Those aren't calls. Like those calls are not calls that the refs can make up, right? You can't do anything about that. The ref counts to 40. You don't get the snap off at 40. You throw a flag. The ref counts to 12. What's he supposed to do? Ignore it? You have to be able to. You have to be able to avoid those situations and be able to get off the field on those third downs. I mean, those are important plays at those times. So let's go through some stats. We're going to start with the Bills because we always start with the winners here on Believer Stock, which means we haven't started with the Bills too often, but this time we get a chance to. We got Josh Allen, 8 for 19, again, not even 50%. So he still has. I don't know if they consider him as eligible for the stat because he missed a few games, but he still has the lowest completion percentage out of the rookies drafted in the 2018 NFL draft. So that you have to look at that to improve. But 8 for 19, 160 yards and the touchdown. He was not sacked at all. So then you go to which is something else we can talk about too. That offensive line is continuing to get better and better week by week. And you look at Wyatt Teller, you look at Bodine, you look at Deion Dawkins, who's doing better too. Just the offensive line in general is doing better, whether that be the play calling by Brian Dable, which you all gave up on not too long ago, and now all of a sudden he put up 41 and 24 in back-to-back weeks, and in back-to-back games, I should say. And now, is anyone talking about firing him now? I don't think so, but you got some of you guys already gave up on him. So how do you feel about Brian Dable now that we have a couple more wins under our belt? I still think we have to give him the rest of the season to figure it out. I'm not saying that he's that good now because we had 2 games in a row that we played well, but I think he's earned the rest of the season to see how he does, which is what I've been saying this whole time. I'm not a Brian Dable hater. I'm not a Brian Dable lover. I am someone who thinks we need to make sure we have the right guy, our offensive coordinator, to help this young quarterback. Josh Allen, like I said, showed the poise to possibly be the QB of the future. Would love to see that accuracy get a little better. Love to see his percentage go up. But those are things that you obviously want to see go up throughout the season. Going to rushing, Josh Allen was also our leading rusher, 13 rushes, 99 yards, and a touchdown. He actually did have 100 yards in this game, but due to the kneel down at the end of this game, took a yard away, leaves him with 13 for 99. McCoy had 17 for 46. Not the game you wanted to see from LaShawn McCoy. You wanted to see more from him. Went back to that juking and jiving in the backfield type thing. And against a team like Jacksonville, against a lot of teams in the NFL, when you get the ball from here on out, run the ball north to south. That's all you want to do. You want to keep running north to south. Yeah, listen, I agree with you. Low completion, I'll take, and this is what we said about Mark Barkley, right? When you're a Buffalo Bills quarterback, what you just need to do is you need to be able to extend the field when you must, which he did with Robert Foster and Kelvin Benjamin early, and then just not make any mistakes. And he didn't make any mistakes. He did throw one pass to Jalen Ramsey that was intercepted, but that was called back because of penalty. So we'll negate that one. But as long as this team doesn't make mistakes, we see what happens. And that's not even including all the penalties in this game, right? I consider the penalties a wash because both teams had a lot of penalties in this game. But go back to the running game. Then you have Chris Ivory only ran the ball 3 times for 14 yards. Again, I was hoping to see more from him as well. What can you do with only 3 carries? We'll get to the catches here in a second. I had a few catches as well. But Chris Ivory used to play for Jacksonville. You would think that he would come out and want to prove something. They still had something left in the tank here. We wanted to see more from him. And then Isaiah McKenzie had 2 rushes for 8 yards and, of course, that touchdown. So he was getting involved in the run game. Again, you look at how many rushes we had with 35 rushes again. That's a number that I've been barking on this whole season pretty much. That 35 rush line is where we want to be, 35 to 45, to get a chance to win. 35 or more, really. If you run the ball 50 times, then you probably did something right, like that Indianapolis Colts game last year. But you want to run the ball over 35 times for this team to have a chance to win. Receiving, Robert Foster, 2 catches, 94 yards to touchdown. Obviously, a 75-yard touchdown is going to give you a lot of stats or a lot of yards on the day. Kelvin Benjamin, 1 catch, 32 yards. Jason Kroom, 2 catches, 16. Isaiah McKenzie, 2 catches for 11. And LaShawn McCoy, 1 for 7. I did think, Ivory did have a catch, but was called back for penalty. So, so those are the receptions. Again, when you only have 8 completions, you're not going to have a lot of yards or a lot of receivers getting a lot of catches. So our leading receiver had 2 catches. And we had 3 guys tied 2 catches. Those were our leading receivers. Guys, I understand the no turnovers. I understand the no mistakes. But we need someone who's going to spread the ball out more. We need to get better receivers. And I'm not saying it's all on Josh Allen. Some of these issues are on the receivers. We'll talk about the Fins a little bit here. We have the Dolphins coming up next week, obviously, who have kind of been on a tailspin at this half of the year too. So we do have the weakest schedule going into the end of the season, minus the New England Patriots game. So kicking, how should go 1-4 on field goals, 3 for 3 on extra points. Kick return, that's another thing that you have to really be happy about. Isaiah McKenzie bringing a spark to the kick return game. And under the radar, that Logan Thomas play where he recovered the kickoff, that was like a line drive and ran out to like the 35. Huge play. If that bounces back, who knows what's going to happen. He takes the shot. He runs upfield, gets to about the 35-yard line, gives us good field position to start that drive. Colton Schmidt, 7 punts, much better game yesterday. Much better game from him. 7 punts, 314 yards, about 45 yards per punt average. 2 inside the 20. So, he had a few more punts inside the 20. Wasn't getting those the first 2 weeks. So good to see him constantly improving back to possibly a little bit to his old form. Isaiah McKenzie in the return game, 3 for 13. Punting, leading tackler was Jordan Poyer, also had an interception in this game. And then also Matt Milano late in the first half had an interception as well. Kyle Williams, who was all over the place, really did a great job yesterday. A sack and a half. Jerry Hughes had half a sack as well, so we were able to get to Blake Bortles a little bit. So let the epic run begin. 8-8. Hey, we can win out and go 9-7 still. I did see something on Pro Football Focus that said even if we win out and go 9-7, we still only have a 40% chance to make the playoffs. But again, guys, we just need to keep building on this season just keep building, building, building. It's not necessarily about records anymore. It's just constantly seeing improvement, especially from this offense. We know what our defense has, right? We know how good our defense can be. We know that they struggle sometimes against the run. Again, looking at Mack and Indy, looking at Fournette here, we know that can happen. We know we need to tighten up, especially in the middle. But we know what we have on defense. It's not going to change. We have a top 5 defense in the NFL. As long as we can keep those players, which most of them we can. We'll talk about contracts later in the year during the offseason. Most of these players we can do not have a lot of unrestricted free agents that other than age restrictions, that will really hurt us or our big name players. I'm not saying role players can't be as important, but we can find those. And so hopefully we can find those again. So going over to the Jacksonville side of the ball, Jacksonville statistics, here we go. Blake Bortles, 12 for 23, 127, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times on the day, and then he ran the ball pretty well as well. Not nearly as good, of course, as Josh Allen did, but he was still able to run the ball effectively when he had the ball. Leonard Fournette, 18 rushes, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that was only through 2.5 quarters, or, well, about 2 3/4 quarters, because he was obviously ejected after the brawl between him and Shaq Lawson. Westbrook, one carry, 43 yards. That's the one that was up the sideline that I was talking about. Bortles, 6 carries, 39 yards. Hyde, 10 carries, 33 yards. TJ Yeldon, 3 carries, 16 yards, and Bohannon had a run for 0 yards on that goal line stance, that huge goal line stance after the brawl. That changed the complexion of this whole game, obviously. Receiving, D.D. Westbrook, 3 catches, 44 yards, a touchdown. Dante Moncrief had a catch for 29 yards. Bohannon had 2 catches for 19. Yeldon, 2 for 17. Fournette, 3 for 13. And Bell, 1 for 5. Lambeau, that huge missed field goal after that goal line stance, 3 for 3 on extra points. Green Sr. was the kick returner. He had 3 kick returns, 62 yards, about 21 kick return average. Punting, they had Cook. Cook had 6 punts for 287 yards, 55 was his long. Westbrook, 2 returns, 33 yards. Leading defender was give me a second here. Let me get some names. Talvin Smith Jr. had 7 tackles on this day. Again, no sacks. No turnovers. Those are big, big things to say for this game, for the Buffalo Bills. So let's talk about this game a little bit, guys, because everyone's getting so excited. It was a very emotional game. It was a very emotional win. Very happy, personally, that we got that win. However, there was a lot of sloppiness. A lot of sloppiness in this game. There's a lot of bad that you can look at in this game and say, wow, how do we win this game? And the only reason why we won this game, let's be honest, man, the only reason why we won this game was because Leonard Fournette got ejected, right? Leonard Fournette does not get ejected, we don't win. So maybe we should be thanking Shaq Lawson today and saying, hey, if it wasn't for you getting into a fight, we probably wouldn't have won this game, because we were not doing a great job stopping Leonard Fournette. In the third quarter, we were. Okay, I don't know if we figured some out in the second half or not. In the third quarter, I believe he only had 19 yards up to that point, and it was late in the third he got ejected. So we were doing better. I just don't think the way. I mean, I have no proof. After watching that game yesterday, I have no proof that we would have consistently stopped him in that game. So total yards, you look at Jacksonville, 333. Buffalo had 327. Buffalo did a much better job of being even from pass to run, especially in the first half with that huge pass to Robert Foster, which with that nice pass to Kevin Benjamin. Did a nice job mixing run to pass, so I was very happy about that. We had 160 passing yards, and we had 167 rushing yards. So very good job mixing it up and making that a little harder for Jacksonville to defend. Again, sorry about my voice, guys. Wow. Not even thinking playoffs. I agree. Keep building. Yeah, not thinking playoffs at all. There's no need to think playoffs. Again, like I said, we could win out, and we only have a 40% chance to make the playoffs. And I'm not saying it's impossible. 40% is more than we had last week going into Week 17. I'm not saying it's impossible, but just build this young core, build this young team. Again, 40% of this team is in their first 2 years of the league. I mean, that bodes well for the Buffalo Bills. I'm just reading comments. I apologize. Yeah, Boswell went out too. Yeah. Our D-line in the second half, after Fournette was ejected, after Lawson was ejected, they kind of got after it. It was awesome to see. I mean, that was just amazing to see how well we stepped up. Our defense stepped up. So fumbles lost. Neither of us had a fumble lost. Interceptions thrown, Jacksonville 2, we had 0. Sacks allowed, Jacksonville 3, we had 0. Third down efficiency, that's an issue, guys. Our third down efficiency is an issue. We only converted on 20% of third downs. We need to do better. We need to do better on third down conversions. We need to get put in short third down situations in order to convert these more. Have to be able to give our defense time to rest. I mean, we had 7 drives where we did not score. Out of those 7 drives, 6 of them we ran 6 plays or less. That's not good enough. We need to be able to sustain drives. Even if you don't score, you need to be able to switch field position. You need to be able to put yourself maybe in field goal range. You need to give yourself a chance to put points on the board. Again, we know how bad this offense has been. I mean, 24 points, that's our second biggest point total so far this season, behind the 41 we just put up on the Jets. So we know how bad this offense can be. But we need to try and improve week after week after week. And that's what I've been saying about Brian Dable. That's what I'm saying about this young quarterback, of course, Josh Allen. As long as we see improvement, I look forward to next season. We're talking about $90 million in cap space. I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing what that can buy. I look forward to seeing what we get in the draft, all those things to help support Josh Allen. I mean, again, we have this young team. We need to take advantage, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Who knows what players we'll keep, what players we'll be unable to afford. It would be great to be able to keep Tre'Davious White for his whole career. It would be great to be able to keep Tremaine Evans his whole career. It would be great to be able to keep Milano his whole career. But those things just don't happen all the time, and so we have to be prepared for that. But we might as well use them and get the best we can out of them while we have them. So we need to be able to create young talent going forward as well. So, Piano Wits just said, with the new rules, so many teams throw it to the middle, but we don't seem to. Well, the reason we don't seem to is because our tight ends are not that great. You talk about Charles Clay. I mean, I was actually, at the beginning of the season, this is where I have to admit that I was wrong here, guys. At the beginning of the season, I was very excited for our tight end core. I was very excited for this group. You got Charles Clay, Logan Thomas, Jason Kroom. I was excited about Kyrie Lee, O'Leary. Nick O'Leary was always a big factor for us last season. So I was excited about this whole team of tight ends we have, but they just have not lived up to snuff this year so far. I mean, Charles Clay on and off the field with injury. He has had that one huge fumble against Indianapolis. I just can't get out of my mind. Or against was it Indy? It was Indy. I just can't get out of my mind. And then you talk about Jason Kroom's fumble that was returned for a touchdown at Chicago, just not playing as well as we need them to play. So that's why we're not throwing to the middle of the field. And you look at our wide receivers. I mean, who's your slot guy? Zay Jones. Well, Zay Jones had a good week last game against the Jets, but no catches in this one. So be interesting to see what happens moving forward against Miami. Miami's defense is not that good, so we'll look a little bit more into that in the Thursday pregame. So look forward to that. If you haven't already subscribe to Believers Talk. We will be here Thursday pregame in the Dolphins game, and it'll be here Sunday giving you live play-by-play for that game as well. Reaction. I always give good reactions. You can ask anyone here who's watched. Time possession, Jacksonville beat us 32-27, and then penalties, Jacksonville had 10. We had 13 penalties. 13 penalties. We will not win games consistently if that keeps happening. It's just so weird how we go from having 4 to 6 penalties one week, and then we have 13 the next week, then we have 14 the next week. We're towards the top of the league in penalties. That needs to stop. Last year we did a much better job at getting better at penalties. This year, it just seems to be going back to a trend that we just can't keep happening. So maybe it's not discipline. Maybe it's young talent not knowing what they're supposed to do. I mean, we all know how much I hate those illegal formation penalties. We seem to have stopped on those, so I'm happy about that. But we need to be able to stop these penalties. It's getting ridiculous at times. And we can blame the refs if you want to. But it's not always on the refs. You can't constantly blame the refs. I know Fox 87, you say you hate the refs. As an official of high school football, I don't hate the refs. I try to stick up for them. I know some of the calls yesterday were ridiculous, but I think that holding call when Jacksonville scored a touchdown on that goal line stance, they got that holding, I believe it was on second down. I don't think that was a great holding call, but it benefited us, so I'll take it. You think about that helmet play on Robert Foster. I know Foster got hurt on the play. I'm happy that he's okay. But you look at that, and that was a ticky-tack foul. I'm not sure how much I agreed with that foul either, but these things happen. So I'm not going to say they even out because I don't think officials think that way. I just think they see what they see and they throw the flags. Remember, there's only 7 of them on the field. It's easy to watch slow-mo and say, oh, that might not have been the greatest call. But I try to stick up for the officials because, they got a job to do and they do the best they can. And they get penalized just when they don't do a good job, just like any of us do at our job. They miss playoff games. And the playoff games are paychecks. So I don't always blame the refs. I mean, it's tough sometimes when you're talking about like a Music City forward pass or something like that. But for the most part, I try not to blame the officials for what happens on the field. And I watched UCF Jaguars live stream today just to see how they reacted to some things. And I know some people on there were saying Leonard Fournette did not deserve to get ejected. He threw a punch. And in the NFL, you throw a punch. In any sport, you throw a punch, you get ejected. And that should be the way. You should get ejected and you should be suspended if you throw a punch in the NFL. We don't have talents for that. We shouldn't have talents for that. Football is a violent enough sport as it is. We don't need stuff like that after the play is over. So what is important this offseason, what to acquire? There's so many positions you can talk about here, right? You can talk about offensive line, you can talk about wide receiver, you can talk about tight ends. I don't think it's going to be tight ends just because of how much money we already have in that position, unfortunately. But you can talk about some running back. You can talk about, defensive tackle. You can talk about a couple positions where you could say, hey, we have a need here. We need to fill it. Again, and we do need depth players. We do have 10 draft picks, but a lot of them are later in the draft. So we need good depth players. We need a good Wyatt Teller in the 5th round. I think Wyatt Teller's doing a great job so far this year. I really do, and that's really helped our offensive line. So I think that will continue to improve as the game is back on, guys. So if you want to watch the game, you can turn the game back on while we continue to talk here. To be honest, I think our number 1 overall objective needs to be getting wide receiver help for Josh Allen, and then maybe even getting younger at running back. I have said this before, and I'm going to say this again. I don't think that McCoy's legal troubles are behind him. I actually think this offseason he might still have some battles on his hand, and that still might lead to an early suspension going into 2019. So there's no way we can be sure what's going to happen, and so we might need to get a young running back or 2 in here. Wish we'd see Marcus Murphy more. Wish we'd see Taylon Jones more to see what we have backing up McCoy, because Ivory's not going to stick around either for too long. I mean, he's older too, so need to get. I think Taron Johnson's doing a great job as our number 3 corner. I really think he's coming on, but maybe some depth at corner. I mean, we saw how much that hurt us when Monte Davis retired. So there are a couple positions in need. I think offense would be where I would mainly focus. Again, we know what we have in this defense, have a top 5 defense in the NFL, but we've also seen what happened with Jacksonville. Nothing's changed from Jacksonville's defense between last year and this year, or at least not much. And here we are. We see them struggling this year. 24 points to this woeful Bills offense is not something you want to have on your resume. They're just not looking that great. I mean, Ramsey's still doing his thing, but no one else seems to be doing their thing. So, but that's why I think we should go on what you guys think. But that's kind of my take on it. But I mean, the Bills win. It's always good to win. It's always good to win, especially at home. Protect your home. And you look at the Bills' schedule. We still have 1 against the Jets. We have 2 against the Dolphins. We play the Lions, and then we play the Patriots. We can easily win 3 of those 5, or even 4 of those 5. Miami's not playing that well right now. The Jets are not playing well right now. And we saw what happened to the Jets in East Rutherford. We can easily beat them in Buffalo. And then you look at the Lions. Lions are up and down. The Lions look good one week, and then they look bad the next. They look good. They beat the Patriots. They look bad. They lose to the Jets. They look good. They beat the Eagles or something like that. And then they look bad, and they lose to who did they lose to last week? I don't remember. The Bears, right? I mean, you just don't know what Lions team is going to show up. And so that, I think, gives us a chance to win. That game is in Detroit. So that might favor them a little bit, but this offense is getting better. We saw that this week, guys. We saw the field open up a little bit more. We saw that huge pass to Foster was just so big. Josh Allen looked good in that pass, and he looked good for a lot of the first quarter. To be honest with you, he looked really good. I think he had 125 yards at the end of the first quarter, and he ends with 190. So obviously the rest of the game, what happened? We ran the ball 35 times. We need to do that. We need to run the ball a consistent amount to have a chance to win these games. So what does that mean for the future? That means hopefully we keep running the ball. Hopefully we do see LeSean McCoy get another game or two where he has over 100 yards. You know, he's 70 yards or so away from being the 25th all-time leading rusher. So that says something. And you know, you could say, oh, that's 25th. That's pretty far down there, and it is. But at the same time, how many run backs have been in the NFL? And he's going to be 25th in rushing yards. So good for him. I hope he gets that next game. We'll need him next game. I think the Bills always need a run attack to be effective. So, but we'll talk more about that on Thursday. Again, if you haven't subscribed to Bleavers Talk, hit that subscribe button. We go live every Thursday, every Sunday, and every Monday. We live stream the game for you on Sunday. We do play-by-play reaction. I cannot show the game here, but I do try to give you live play-by-play reaction. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, the Twitter thing is in the description, so click on that or go to Twitter and follow us on Twitter because we keep you updated on all Buffalo Bills sports, all Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo Sabres 9-game winning streak, right? Fox 87, you know it. 9-game winning streak, looking for 10 tomorrow. Keep you updated on the Buffalo Bulls as we get ready to see what bowl game the Buffalo Bulls will be in as they get ready to play in the MAC championship this Saturday. And then we see what bowl game they get. Right now it's looking like they're getting the Dollar General Bowl, so good for them there. Jacksonville is falling apart. You know, it's kind of sad to see if you're a Jacksonville fan. I went to the game with my brother. He's a Jacksonville fan. So it's kind of sad to see, you know, what's going to happen to Doug Marrone at the end of the season. Some people are saying he's on the hot seat. I don't understand that since he just took him to AFC Championship game last year. But some people are saying he's on the hot seat. Some people are saying that other defensive coordinators on the hot seat. Some people are saying, obviously, Blake Bortles on the hot seat. Now he's on the bench. So what are they going to do at the quarterback position going into next season? You know, that's obviously a need. And the QB draft class is not nearly as strong as it was this year. So Dolphins will be tougher in Miami. Dolphins always play the Bills tough. You know, it's that division matchup, as my buddy Louis T says over at the Louis T Network. If you're not subscribed to him, it's family business. You never know what's gonna happen with this family business. The family always messes things up a little bit. So yeah, Miami always plays us tough. But you know, if you're a Buffalo Bills player, are you upset that on December 2nd or December 3rd, whenever the game is, you're going down to Miami, Florida? I doubt it. I don't think you're that upset over it. I think you're okay with going to Miami, Florida, early December in Buffalo. I think you're okay with that. So I think they'll be all right. And you know, in the 90s, it actually worked out that we would normally win in Miami, and they would normally come up to Buffalo and beat us in Buffalo. So that kind of seemed to even out a little bit. But we'll see what happens. Again, Miami's one of those teams, kind of like the Lions. One week they play really well, and then the next week you wonder what happened. And then now that Tannehill's back, you know, he got beat up pretty good this past Sunday, so we'll see what happens. But that's all I have for you guys today. I'm very happy that we got this win. Again, sorry about my voice. I'd be a little more excited. I'd be a little more awake and active, but you know, it was just a long weekend. As you guys know, I was at the game. Didn't get home until 3:30 in the morning. Had to go to work. Crazy day. And then, you know, I'm just tired. My voice is still hoarse from the game yesterday. So if you're not getting the excitement that you normally get, I do apologize. I promise that we'll be back Thursday, and I'll probably be well rested and be able to get on here and give you guys the excitement that you're used to from me. So again, it means I did good at the stadium. I hope so. That place was rocking. So I was happy about that. Again, first Bills game in a while that I went to in Buffalo, and it was just fun to see. Fun to be a part of that atmosphere. And if you haven't been to a Bills game, if you're able to, I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate Steve let me use his tickets for this game. It was a lot of fun, so I do appreciate that. I appreciate all of you again, as always. And I'll be on here Thursday. So again, if you have not subscribed to Bleavers Talk, if you know some Dolphins fans who won't be able to watch the game, just invite them over here. Share this video with them. Let them know we are here. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, subscribe. We constantly keep you updated on all things Buffalo Bills. Again, I'll try to keep you updated on Sabres. You know, Sabres are coming close to first place. You know, they're second place in the East. And I'm not sure exactly how it will work this offseason, but maybe I'll try to get some live stream of some Sabres games on here as well. We'll do what we can. It'll be a lot of fun. No matter what we do, it's going to be a lot of fun here. But again, thank you for joining me on Bleavers Talk. If you haven't already subscribed. Hit that like button. Like this video. I love getting those likes. It helps me out, helps this channel out a lot. And then share this with your friends and family. Let them know we're here to keep you updated on all things Buffalo Bills. Again, the Bills win 24-21, beat the Jaguars. Still some things to improve on, but we're looking much better now, 4-7 on the season going into next week when we go into Miami. So again, thank you for joining me on Bleavers Talk, and we will see you soon. But till then, go Bills.